Ted Knife Jr.
He's here somewhere.
John Kessler,
Here.
Kenrick Dupree, Sharon Lee,
Here.
Mary Miller,
Here.
Kelsey Haskell,
Here.
Thad Rose,
Here.
Derek Bartlett,
Here.
Francine Hall,
Here.
Joe Brinksplenny, Bob Walters, Ron Russo, Tuffy Thompson,
Here.
Dean Dupree. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Secretary. We'll ask Mr. Brinksplenny for opening prayer. Allow me, Mr. Brinksplenny. Council, we have district minutes, and then we'll get into our committee minutes, and then we'll do the lunch, and then after that we can have the Attorney General come back and present that resolution we discussed yesterday. I have my child has an appointment at 5, so I have to run about 4 thereafter. I have to be excused. Mr. Walters.
Mr. Chairman, also I'm asking for me and myself and Mr. Knight to be excused, whoever can meet with that FSA office on prep and the Bureau and Carly.
Okay.
That's at the meetings at once, so you must be excused.
Okay. Okay, we'll get started. District 6. District 6, we got a set of minutes here. Mr. Russo, Mr. Thompson. Or you want me to present them? Yes, sir.
Well, this District 5 business, one thing I didn't get to, we made a motion to add some of the council reps onto the Taquini board, and my name is on there as well, but I was requesting to be removed and asked if Representative Hall can take my place for District 5.
Make that motion.
Okay. We got a motion by Councilwoman Lee, second by Councilman Walters to switch out Mr. Brinksplenny with Mrs. Hall on the Taquini School Board for District 5. Madam Secretary, please call for the vote.
Good? Okay.
Bryce Underwoods. Absent. Steve Moran.
Yes.
Ted Knife Jr. Absent. John Kessler,
Yes.
Kenrick Dupree, Sharon Lee,
Yes.
Mary Miller,
Yes.
Kelsey Haskell,
Yes.
Thad Rose,
Yes.
Derek Bartlett,
Yes.
Francine Hall,
Abstain.
Joe Brinksplenny, Bob Walters, Ron Russo,
Abstain.
Tuffy Thompson.
Yes.
Thank you.
11 yes, 0 no, 2 abstain, 2 absent. Motion carries. Anything else? District 6.
Good morning.
Morning.
Back to State Ronald Russo, Machaku. Ogu Chasha Shakwe, Wawashi Chamulo. District 6 meeting minutes were for the December 22nd, 2023. Meeting was held at Teoshodopa School Cafeteria in La Plata, South Dakota. First motion was motion by resolution. Motion to support District 5's resolution for the tribe to not contract with KGL Engineering out of Bismarck, North Dakota. Motion passed. That'd be my motion.
Got a motion by Mr. Russo. Is there a second? Okay, motion has been second by Mr. Thompson.
Chairman,
I think,
KLJ,
did District 5 have a resolution? I don't,
I believe there was a resolution that was going to be presented, but it wasn't presented at the meeting. The resolution. We didn't have a quorum that time when they were going to present it, so it didn't, there was no action on it.
Ms. Lee?
Thank you. Good morning. Thank you, Chairman LeBeau. There's a lot of misinformation out there about KLJ, and it seems like it goes from one district and it's given to another one. But I know that Art Rave had a post out there dated 2006. Now, that was a really old, some information from way back, and I know that you addressed this on the council floor last month, and I guess it's still out there, but they don't do business with oil pipeline companies. They said when they realize that the business that they do with tribes, they took that into consideration, and they didn't at some point years quit doing business when they realized it was a conflict. So I believe you informed us of that, but I guess maybe it needs to be restated to people to hear that. So, because something from years ago, 2006, you know, how many years ago was that? And they're using that to say, oh, KLJ, you know, represents pipelines or something, but it does work for them, but that isn't true. So it just keeps getting put out there. So I'd like to, and I know you did clarify it already, but if you could clarify that again for everyone, I'd appreciate it. Thank you.
I believe what they said was they tried to, in light of the tribe's stance on pipelines like Dakota Access or KXL or TransCanada, they said they've want to maintain the relationship with the tribes, that they try not to do the work for these pipelines. So that's, and I know they work for other tribes. Oglala uses them, Standing Rock uses them, I think Lower Brule. So I mean, but maybe second's been pulled. Maybe if I was thinking maybe having Dakota come up and describe the workload that they do with the with KLJ, and just recently they gave they applied for the grant. You know, we have late start today and it's all wet, and there's potholes now here in Eagle Butte. But they were able to get a grant for $4 million for the tribe to do all the Eagle Butte streets, and it's a planning grant. It's called the RAISE grant, and it's really a big deal because it's hard to get those RAISE grants. So the $4 million will be used for engineering and planning for Eagle Butte streets, including sidewalks and lighting and the whole thing. All the District 5 and District 4, all the BIA, No Heart, Habitat, Fox Ridge, all the tribal, not the city side, but all the tribal side of Eagle Butte. So that planning grant will be used or be an agreement done, I think next month, and then they'll plan all the streets, and then they use those plans to go to the next grant funding cycle of RAISE, and it'll be a construction. So that's competitive, but if they have this first part done, all this planning done, engineering, then it makes us more eligible to get the next construction grant from RAISE. So definitely a long time coming, and now it's happening. So, and KLJ helped us get that grant. So that's kind of where we are. That's some of the things Dakota will probably talk about. But any comments or questions? There's no second. Mrs. Hall and Mr. Moran.
Yeah, this was passed but it came to our district. It was Joe, what's his name, that young guy? White Eyes? Okay. And he talked to the district and explained, anyway, and so at that meeting, they passed it. They told him to I think it was to go to the secretary's office and get the format for a resolution, and then but they passed it to do by resolution. And I told them what you had stated in council, and they said, well, look on their page. They say what they do, and so I looked at their page, but they've got lots of projects. They as I'm also pulling this up, they do pipeline construction. They're in a lot of areas. It says South Meadows Park, US 93, Ronan urban reconstruction, revitalization of Crooked Crane Trail, and exercise and fitness loop. They do Lockwood, TED infrastructure, master plan, Grafton, Park River flood control, coal strip economic diversification strategy, Mandan Tennis Center, Gillette water supply, Southport lift station, Watford City bypasses, Valley City permanent flood protection, Laurel Municipal Airport crosswind runway, Cheyenne Street reconstruction, BIA Route 7 to US Highway 83 improvement project, Williston Basin oil and gas electrical load growth forecast. And I know in claims we also approved a proposal Jay was approved for that to do strategic planning. So it sounds like they are pretty diversified. They do a lot of things. And I know at that construction summit I went to a couple of weeks ago, they had mentioned that this is one of the firms that does those big projects. So anyway, but I think so I don't know how timely. Council Representative Lee said this was from 2006, but so I think maybe what we need to do is just tell our people that what we're using them for. anyway, it might be just, some misinformation. I don't know, but it sounds like they, like Chairman said, they do a lot of work for other tribes, here in South Dakota, so we're already connected with them, so anyhow. But it did pass our district, so, I'll go ahead and second the motion because, it did come out of my district, so, thank you.
Okay, we got a second by Mrs. Hall. Mr. Moran?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This issue came about in our district as well. There was concern about KLJ dealing with oil companies, and there was some came kind of chazeka about it. But there was supposed to be a representative that was supposed to come from KLG to the meeting, but due to conflicting schedules, they couldn't. But it seems to me they could come here, and then if we could get them to come here and then talk to them, maybe they'll quell all the concerns about that. So I think they're willing to come out and open it.
Mr. Bartlett?
Yeah, thank you, Chairman. Yeah, this is, KLJ's been assisting the tribe with, we've been working on the Power Arena, and they sent it out for bids, as I explained to the council earlier. So the bids came back, and I know we have that 1.4, but just a little update on that. KLJ is gonna work with the contractors on bringing that, the bid came in at 6 million, and council knows we only got 1.4 there. So we got to go back to the table and try to get the contractors to come down on that so we can get this arena done before August. So it's kind of important, time consuming, but we got to put the work in. There's work being done. Tribal council already approved the contract. Engineers are working on it. So we need, there's just a lot of work to get done, and they already been working with us. So I know the steel on the pipeline and things like that, it's going to interfere with projects that are existing for the tribe now. So I think we just need to move forward with KLJ, and they've been here working with us. And my concern as the Fair Board Chairman is to get that arena completed before August. So, you guys know the bid of 6 million. We don't got that right now. So, but we're going to try to make them come down a little bit so we can get this completed. So, thank you.
Mr. Knife?
Chairman, Dakota's going to come up and do a resolution whenever we do the road reports. Maybe we can ask him those questions then.
Okay.
Chairman, I'll table my motion.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Russo. Motion's been tabled. We'll continue with the District 6 minutes.
Thank you, Chairman. Next discussion, a lot of discussion regarding stray dogs biting people and animal shelter not doing anything. There's a couple actions here. I read the actions. We'll go through the actions quick. First motion, for the tribe to help housing authority and other houses that ain't housing authority houses to be fenced with the tribe's expense to lock out stray dogs. That's my motion.
Okay, we got a motion by Mr. Russo, second by Mr. Thompson. Comments, Mrs. Whitebowl?
Mr. Chairman, will you explain what the Claims Committee action took on Monday for the council and the public? Thank you.
Council, at the claims meeting this past Monday, we took an action regarding these dogs. It was reported to us by the animal control that they needed it to be in the law to do euthanization of these animals when they get full, and they have nowhere to take them. They can't adopt them out. They can't. So they need to euthanize them. They need to put that in the code. So that's what's that's kind of the part of the problem that's never been in the code, according to the animal control. And if that's in there, then they can handle more animals. So committee passed motion to include that, and also to change their name. I guess they said they claim that if you switch the name up, it put animal control first and then animal shelter second, that it gives the world a message that we're controlling our animals before we're sheltering them. So that helps with the outlook, I guess, when it comes to donations and whatnot. So we took that action as well, and they needed more officers, animal control officers. They were approved. They said they were approved one through budget committee. Thank you, budget committee, but they needed 2 more. So that was the other request. They needed 2 more animal control officers to be more effective than they are. So that's where we are with that. Then I told the Attorney General as soon as she has that ready to bring it in, and then we'll vote on it. Mr. Bartlett, go ahead.
Yeah, Chairman, regarding the animal control, so is this new law that the tribe's willing to implement, is that going to allow them to kill puppies? If there's a batch of puppies that are born and, we sign off on this, we agree to this, those 6 or 7 puppies can be put down or killed? Or are they going to allow them to live and adopt them out?
Well, Humpy, I think I think we can put that in there if this is just for the adult stray animals. When the shelter gets full, they can no longer take more. Then they can use the euthanization for if it's if they're pups, then they just hang on to them so they can adopt those out.
Yeah, Chairman, just to add to that too, I went out to the landfill and I got reports of our program killing dogs and puppies, and I went out there and there's puppies that are killed and dead. So these are smaller dogs. I didn't see no Rottweilers or large pit bulls or anything like that in there. These are just look like to me they look like friendly dogs that were just put down. Somebody just didn't want them, so the animal shelter went out and killed them. So I think if the donors that give us the free dog food and free flea and tick collars and all the good stuff that's come in for free, they find out that we're killing animals, we'll be losing that support from the donors. So that's something to think about. So, but I think the animal control department needs to do a little bit more on these female dogs that are having these batch of puppies or dogs every other year. So I think that's the avenue, instead of just letting them have the puppies and then killing the puppies. At least try to fix the mothers of these animal or the puppies. If we can have animal control kind of do that census or do the door to door and see who all has how many people have the animals, and if they need to be fixed, we could fix them instead of just allowing that cycle to happen every year and then killing animals year after year. So if we could fix the female dogs, I think we're in the right direction, rather than just killing dogs year after year. And then, some of that is responsible owners. There's nothing being done by animal control to hand out pamphlets or flyers to animal owners regarding their animals and how to raise them and what's needed. So anyways, that information needs to be put out there. That's not happening by our animal control. So there's a lot more things we could do instead of just killing dogs. And that ceremonial thing on puppies, that's just kind of show off. When our Lakota go out there and they do the ceremony, back then times are tough and ceremonies are things are happening back then that are different, because people call us dog eaters. You go to other tribes and say, "Oh, you guys are those guys that eat dogs." But that if you look at the history, and some of you that went to college, you look at the history. So some of that was forced upon us. Well, there was nothing scarce. The food was scarce and nothing to eat. And you even seen the movies where people were putting mice into the soup and with their tribes, when their winters were tough. But it wasn't always like that. So now we live in the future, and you guys got your McDonald's and you got people going to the ceremony and they pull right up to KFC, but they're at the ceremonies killing these little puppies. That's just, to me, that show off, showing that they're more sacred than the rest of the people that are attending these ceremonies. So I heard of people cutting a dog's throat or a puppy's throat and raising it up to the sky and things like that. That's yeah, it's not good this day and age. Back then things are different, but we're talking about some people think they're more sacred and better if they're eating puppy soup. They kill puppies and put that in there. So I don't believe in that. I believe we're all sacred, but some of that's all show off. So put that on the record for those of my Lakota colleagues or people within our tribe that think like that. So thank you.
Okay, I got Mr. Russo, Mrs. Whitebow, Mrs. Hall, Mr. Walters.
Thanks, Chairman. I want to read this into the record quick. I said, on February 2nd, 2024, I wrote a letter to Chairman LeBeau. I said, Dear Chairman LeBeau, I am requesting that disciplinary actions be taken against the director of the animal shelter for the following reasons. 1, the director continues to put the interests of donors over...
Mr. Russo, that's a personnel matter. I read your letter, and that doesn't belong here.
So, well, I know, I kind of get that feeling that I don't belong here either, Chairman, because a lot of the issues that I'm pushing, I got a kola about your size, Emmett Brewer. He got taken down. He's pretty strong. Grown man got taken down by a pack of dogs on Sesame Street, and he got stitches. No, I'm just very upset with the actions. We should write down what we say before we say it, because we want to change the name. Because if we change the name, then we can do different things. So we're doing all this stuff, but taking care of this animal problem. And it's not going to be long under your administration where stray dogs in a pack. And I got pictures this year, last year, of packs of dog 10 deep and more, 10 plus. And they're not puppies. I'm sure they're going to have 100 puppies, but they're running around in packs. Collars, no collars, and they're attacking people. In addition to that, when kids are attacked by dogs, if that person's somebody, or we think they're somebody, that dog is okay. It still gets to get tied up outside the house and wait in line to attack the next kid that walks by there innocently. So there's kids being attacked on your watch, under your directors, Chairman LeBeau. Why are you protecting these directors that are contributing to the further detriment of our nation? You're the chairman of this tribe. You're in charge of administration, and you're not holding these directors accountable. There's no houses being built. There's no dogs being picked up. Our members can't even afford groceries or afford utilities. And then I kind of bring important matters up, and you just, this isn't the place for it. Where else is the place for it? We're going to refer it to Credco, and they're going to see if they can do a grant from Tetra, and then maybe Tetra. So first of all, the tribe, how much do we pay? I'll end on this, though, because I know we got a lot of stuff to do. We got a lot of appointments, and we're not going to probably going to recess around noon today. Treasurer Keckler, how much money do we pay the animal shelter a year? How much it cost us to keep the doors open on that place?
I'm not sure the number, but over the last couple of years, they've been funded by quarterly. They originally had Tetra grants, and them Tetra grants ran out. So over the last probably 2 years, we fund them with income out of the general fund. Seems like it's about $65,000 a quarter, if I remember right. So it equals $280,000. And they do have some outside grants. We just signed something from Tetra yesterday. I see they were getting some funds. I don't know what it was, like $63,000 or something like that. And I'm not sure what that's for, but it was a quarterly allocation, and they just got it, or it's being processed now. So. But it originally started out funded with Game Fish and Parks dollars, I think. And then and combination of Tetra. And then as that ended, it's always been general fund from quarter to quarter. But I can get the exact numbers if you want that, so.
Thank you, Treasurer Keckler. I guess the more important part is that we're spending about $280,000 a year to keep that, and the tribe's doing that, not some PETA activist group that wants to give us free dog food to keep these animals more comfortable than some of our people live on this reservation. So we need to get our priorities straight. And another thing on the priorities is these retirement pensions. So our elders don't have to work into their 70s and 80s. They can enjoy a comfortable retirement. So they don't have to be running around worrying about how they're going to fund a program and catch a bunch of stray dogs that'll probably kill them too. So we need to do something, Chairman LeBeau. Wake up.
They're only enforcing the policy that council had approved, so that's why we're making those changes I described earlier. We're all at the same table here, so we all got to get this done together. Mrs. Weibel?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I support putting fences around the homes because it's become a dangerous issue for children, but I would like to, and adults, I got bit at a house or in a yard just walking by. And it was so deep they couldn't do stitches, and I still feel the repercussions of it. If I bump my leg, it stings. Do you know what I mean? So, and it's bad. And when I was seen, and this happened August of last year, the doctor said there are 3, and I brought this out at claims, there are 3 dog bites a day that they see, and most of them are smaller children or elderly. And so I think this is needed, but the concern I have about this, Council Representative Russo, is that how much is it going to cost and where is the money going to come from? So I'd like to see added to your motion, you won't let us add it, but I would like to, before it's funded, we need an estimate. I brought it up to the Budget Committee Chair that this should be referred to Budget and Finance so they can do a cost estimate of what it will cost to do this project, and then to try to identify where we would get the money to do this project, so we would have a number available. And that's my only concern, Council Representative Russo, is we should know how much it's going to cost. And you can't change the motion because that's the district's motion, but it sure would be nice if before we do it, if we could quickly have administration try to figure out how much it's going to cost and where it's going to come from and identified. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Hall and Mr. Walters.
I just want to address my colleague's comment about eating dogs or eating puppies in ceremonies. That's still done today. It is part of our culture. And before we got the horse, we did use dogs as burden animals, to help carry our teepees and so forth, when we moved from place to place. And so, the dog has been important in our culture. And we do honor it, by using it in our ceremony. I myself have participated as a dancer in the Sundance, and I ate dog. And to me, it tasted like chicken. But it's, it's not like we do it in an honorable way. We don't do it for show. And so I just like to enlighten you about that. As someone who believes in and practices our traditional ways, it's still very much alive, and we do practice those and honor those. Hechetu.
Mrs. Hall, Mr. Walters, Mr. Thompson, and we'll call for the vote.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you, Mrs. Hall, for sharing and how sacred it is. Mr. Chairman, we have Robs come in once a year and they spade and neuter. That ain't enough. Apparently, it's not enough because we have much dogs running around right here in town. but not only here in town. I hear about Cherry Creek. I hear about different areas where there's packs of these dogs that are running around. We have a vet clinic over there that there's no vet. Gone. We could do spay and neutering throughout the year. And if we can get back in that vet building or whatever we have to do to get back in there, I'm sure there's veterinarians out there that would volunteer and come and spay and neuter dogs, cats, whatever, to help control the population of the dogs that are running around. And so that's what I would like to see happen, Mr. Chairman, is I believe talking to the director out there, I believe what was said was that they could get vets to come in here and do spay and neutering maybe 3 times a year, with RABs coming in too. Because they get hit hard. They can only take so many animals in the days that they're here. And there's a lot of dogs. I woke up one morning, there was 20 dogs in my little front yard. And so I understand where people are coming from, especially out in the districts. They're running loose. You see them out in the pasture even sometimes with cattle and stuff like that because they're hungry. But to control it, we could try to get someone to come in and spay and neuter more of our animals that are running loose. Just make it a thing. But I also just want to, acknowledge Mrs. Hall and thank her for explaining that because I believe too. Thank you.
Mr. Thompson.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The problem's out there. I see it every day. If you stop down at the LTM store in La Plante, which I do quite often, there's always 8, 9, 10 dogs running around there. So the problem does exist. I think this is a good motion. There's ways we can do this. I think if you get with Housing Authority and you bring in, maybe sit down with Terrell Commission, they develop a day labor program this summer. We got enough fence material over there at Culture Preservation to run a fence from one end of the reservation to the other. So we got the material already. There's 10,000 steel posts over there, fencing material. We just have to bring some programs together and work together and make this happen. Because I think fences would fix a lot of it if someone had the opportunity to have a fence around their home to keep their dogs in. It would help. I agree with Mr. Walters. We have to encourage our pet owners to spay and neuter them, to control the population, because it is a problem, and it's all over the reservation. And Whitehorse, we got dogs running loose, and so it is a problem. But we gotta bring a bunch of entities together within the tribe to cure the problem. I think that's put different programs in place, come up with a plan before spring. Get with game fishing parks. You talk about they don't have enough employees over there. Why can't the game wardens help out on the dog population? They all drive a pickup. Why can't they have a cage in their back and they see a stray dog, they pick it up, they bring it to town? I mean, work together. They're out there driving. They know where the dogs are at. I just think to fix a problem like this, it takes a whole group of people. And if we bring them people all together, we'll fix the problem. Thank you, Chairman.
Chairman.
Mr. Bartlett and then Mrs. Rave.
Yeah, thank you, Chairman. So if we get RAVs to come in, and if our animal control department, Ethel, gets with RAVs and has them come in on a specific date yearly, like July or maybe August when it's warm and the animals are moving around. But right now, the animals are sacred. So I stand with that. That these dogs are sacred with my colleagues. Mr. Walters and Ms. Hall. So we got to remember that. And I know some people just think, well, we're a bigger man because we could just choke a dog or kill a dog. I take my rifle out, that I bought with my lease money, or my bank check after selling some cows, and I'm gonna take this rifle out and kill some dogs because it makes me a tougher and bigger man than anyone else, and makes me feel powerful, So, anyways, you got to look at that aspect. We got to respect the Cheyenne River Sioux tribe needs to respect, we're the way of life that we, as leaders, want our people to see, and the nation to see is that we're humble, we're respectful. We just ain't we ain't that cowboy that just has a lot of cows and that just don't care about nothing else. So some dogs are running on that pasture, we're gonna kill them. Or there's a law that comes up regarding dogs in town. Let's just kill them. So we got to get that mindset out. There's a lot of animal lovers in District 5. About every household has an animal or a dog. So there's a certain way to go about this besides just rounding them up and taking them out to landfill and having a group of guys test out their rifles or the new gun that they bought to make them feel more of a man or tough, So I think that, Chairman, if we can get Ravs to come in, if Ethel, we're trying to brainstorm here and council feels that, yeah, we're going to be the director and we're going to do this and that and we're going to make a law because somebody in my district got bit, but some of that too is parenting. We need to create jobs. A family can't even buy a collar or a leash for that animal because there's no jobs, and that leash might cost like $30. Or, our dog food's like $39 for, 40 or 50 pound bag. So I know the shelter gives that out, but some of the shelter food has worms in it. So it creates worms, and they also provide dewormer and things like that. But so there's a lot more to this than just picking up your cowboy gun and going out and killing a population of animals that want to live too. They want to live in this world. They want to live on this earth. Everything wants to live. So we gotta look at that like leaders, not just come in like we're the lawmakers and we're gonna kill this and that. So you turn that around. I'm sure some of you understand if you say let's go kill all the cows. That's gonna cause a lot of problems there because people love them cows and that's money in the bank. So, Chairman, just to make things short, I think that we need Ravs to come in and start fixing the animals to control this population. So that's part of it, and the main thing is jobs. We as leaders need to create jobs so families can provide that free service for their pet or their animal. The animals are part of the family, throughout the years. So what I learned is that those animals, when they're born and they start out, they're kind of like children. They all have a different personality. So you got to look at that. Some families are raised different. It's more of a manly thing to get that dog and take it out and kill it. You got to kill it. That's what Grandpa did, or that's what the ancestor. Or that's the way of life that family might be living. Is there's overpopulation, take it out and kill it. It's just like a injured horse. You got to take it out and you got to kill it because there's no money to fix it, or even a cow that's suffering during the winter months that has injury. These guys go out and kill them, So, but these dogs are our problem. We ain't providing that service. We ain't providing jobs. Kids are getting bit because the parents can't. They don't have a car to take that child to school or drive that child to school. Some of us have cars. Our children are never bit. But the poverty part of it is you got to think about the poverty. Those kids are walking to school. They don't have a car. You got mini marts open. You got these alcohol sales, bootleggers. You got all this meth. You got this marijuana. So some of the parents are doing that, and these kids are walking by somebody's house. They ain't being directed to walk on that street or walk on the sidewalk. Go ahead and take a cut across. So these kids are surviving themselves. So that's kind of how I was one of the res kids that ran through. I mentioned it to council before, me and the group of kids that I grew up with, we thought it was fun to get chased by dogs. And like I said, I never was bit, but some of my friends were bit, but that's probably a learning process for the res kids. I'm sure those kids that got bit, as they become adults, they're going to learn that they're going to learn something about those animals. Or not all of them can be trusted, and just like humans, not all humans can be trusted either. So, but I'm an animal lover, and I got to stick up for these animals. They don't got anybody. District 5, like I said, every household has an animal, and I support those families and their pets, because those pets are part of their family. So I think we need to kind of come down on that, just like it's a major problem, because one of my colleagues is somebody got bit in that district, so then it turns into a district thing. I don't think it's that. I think we just need to be leaders and come up with a better solution besides killing. We should build that fence and then house them, because if you look on the internet, you're going to see that there's some people in those other countries that actually run around out in the field like cows. So we should have something like that here, where we can take in these stray animals and keep them. Ethel can house 300 dogs, and she can feed them daily and adopt them out throughout the country. So something like that, a bigger picture, because you see on the internet, you got people, like I said, 300 dogs. They ain't fighting, they ain't vicious. 300 dogs are all getting along. They feed them all at the same time, and if they can do it, we should be able to do it. So just kind of look at the internet. If you get a chance, look at that. You'll see that all these animals. Imagine 300 dogs being fed. You'd kind of see that some of them would probably fight each other because they're hungry. But what I've seen is that these dogs, they all get along. 300 dogs all being fed, and I never in that video of this lady that's taking care of these dogs. So things like that. But here we got like 5 dogs. They're hungry. You throw some food down, they start fighting each other because they're hungry. So something to think about. But yeah, Chairman, we just need to have RAVs come in and spade and neuter these animals, so we can control the population rather than just killing. Keeping that mindset of killing. I'm a tough person, because that pictures I took out there, those dogs have bullet holes in them. So whoever's allowing the animal control department to shoot and kill dogs, there's a federal law against that. So, it just take one of us to go down to pier and say, hey, these guys are abusing animals, and there's a federal law against that. So, they can get in trouble. But yeah, it's a federal law, Council, if you look it up. Trump signed it back when he was president, so it's there. Thank you.
Madam Secretary, call for the vote.
Chairman, I'll pull my motion because I don't like this motion anyway. I think it's dumb to give Housing Authority any more money to do everything but build houses. Thank you. Motion's pulled.
Motion's been pulled. Is there another motion maker? Motion by Mr. Thompson. Is there a second?
For discussion.
Second by Mr. Kessler.
Thank you, Chairman. Good morning, general public, tribal council executives. The dog issue, I know we talked about it on claims the other day. It's an important issue. Once again, we're gonna talk in circles and cloud the arena, but the dog's gotta go one way or another, however it happens. I'm a dog lover as well. I own 3 of them. But I take care of my dogs regardless. However you want to come back at that because I have this or I do that, that's irrelevant. Regardless, if you're not taking care of your dogs and they're running in packs, they're attacking people, they're attacking other animals. We've got a dog control problem. Everyone that's sitting at this table, except maybe one person, understands that. So, Mr. Chairman, we need to get that resolution from the Claims Commission or Committee, get that approved, and get to controlling some animals around here. Thank you.
Madam Secretary, call for the vote.
pull my second on that motion because I also don't agree that we should be doing any fencing. That's the dog owner. It's in the code. You're required. Enforcement of the law is all it needs as far as that goes. So I don't support it, and I will pull my second.
Chairman, what's the motion?
Is there a second?
Chairman, what's the motion?
Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Bartlett. Madam Secretary, please call for the vote.
Chairman, so the motion is Amber Vote made a motion for the tribe to help Housing Authority and other houses that ain't Housing Authority houses to be fenced with tribes. Expenses to lock out stray dogs. Dilemma Butcher, second motion. Motion was voted on 14-4-0 against. Is that, so can District 6, can you explain the motion, what they're asking there at the meeting? They're asking for Housing Authority to provide fencing for animal lovers?
No, this is so people can build fence, so the tribe can pay for the housing authority to build houses around every house so that stray dogs can't attack them in their own yard. So a lot of houses out there, a lot of fence material over there. I guess we can't even build houses at the rate that we need. But now we want to have housing authority do more tasks, and I don't think they could handle that either. Thank you.
Chairman, so the motion is pulled? Oh, it's on the floor? Oh, yeah, I'll pull my second.
Okay, let's move on. Go to your next motion, Mr. Russo.
Thank you, Chairman. Next motion is motion for the tribe to pull funds from general fund to help support the animal shelter in Eagle Butte, to provide services to East End and West End of the reservation. That'll be my motion.
Motion by Mr. Russo. Is there a second? Second by Mr. Thompson.
Chairman.
Mr. Bartlett, Ms. Lee.
Chairman, Mr. Thompson, what's the motion asking? That East and West End get assistance for what?
Representative Bartlett. So this is basically District 6 concerned that the only dogs that are being picked up are in Eagle Butte, and they're not even being picked up, but that hopefully if we just fund them more money, maybe another $280,000, then we'll maybe be able to get some assistance from the animal shelter in the rural districts, like over by the West End or the East End. But this is something we really got to have a hard discussion on, and it'd be easy discussion with reasonable men and women, that if we can't get it right with $280,000 a year, then we need to probably do an RFP and see if there's some type of, maybe there's a RABS person that's way better at getting donations. They're probably in Pierre or somewhere, maybe on Sioux Avenue. And they, if we were to do RFP and said, hey, we got a stray dog issue, we will contract $280,000 a year, I bet you would have all kinds of people coming up here and could probably imagine what any competent person can do with $280,000 a year with a small task, and that is to, just control animals. That's a lot of money. And our director and our tribal administration can't figure it out. Our executives can't figure it out. So we're just gonna keep on dumping money into this failing program. And you know what it costs for a young child to get reconstructive surgery on their face? I bet you it costs a couple million. And that young girl or young boy will have to live like that forever with scars on their face because we wanted to protect a freaking retired cop dog. Yeah, hey. This is real life stuff. If you ain't got kids that are young, if you ain't thinking about the young kids in your community, then you shouldn't be on this council. Thank you.
Chairman
Ms. Lee.
Thank you. Regarding this motion that's on the floor, the general fund already funds the shelter 100%. So it's just another motion for the general fund to support the shelter, but that's already being done. So I don't know. It's,
Mr. Russo, you
already
want to
been
refer
done
this to
anyway.
the budget committee? Is this a funding issue? We can't promise the general fund monies without the budget committee authorization.
Just gonna stick verbatim on the motion, Chairman.
Ms. Haskell?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, listening and general public and my colleagues here. I just want everybody, the listening people, to know if you have to take extreme measures to protect you and your children and nobody else supports you, I will support you. Protect your family at all means. Whatever you have to do. Shoot the dogs. If they're attacking you, if the dogs are attacking your family, your child, we just got pictures here of a child. A parent just showed up with stitches on a child. My son was chased home from school when I worked at the clinic. He was chased all the way to the clinic. Comes, knees all bloodied up. All I had to do was tell my dad, boom, no dogs. They were taken care of. So I support anybody who has to take extreme measures. Thank you.
Mr. Bartlett?
Yeah, Chairman, I think that's wrong information to be sending out to the public because you got some animal lovers, and if you kill that dog, they're probably going to be looking for, Kelsey. If she did something to somebody's dog, they're probably going to ask questions later, and they'll be, So I'm just saying that that's a wrong message. You're going to cause people to feud with each other over some incident that they don't know. They don't have a clear picture on. They don't know the investigative report. They don't know what type of dog it is. So it's just you can't just have people going over to people's homes and killing dogs, because that's just going to lead to other federal charges if somebody's assaulted or shot or killed. So I'm just saying that's a wrong message to be sending out there. So, Chairman, is there any way we could probably refer this entire issue regarding dogs again? Because I was just thinking that we should be building skyscrapers. Monthly we should be talking about skyscrapers and businesses and jobs and job creation and different type of jobs. Our expansion of our Lakota Thrifty Mart. We put $4 million there. We should be talking about, let's expand that LTM so we can put more people to work, so they can provide personal services instead of relying on Ethel to get this job done. So it's just a safer environment for people. Again, not all dogs are vicious. You might have one or two dogs that are out there that the owner, some of these owners are using them dogs for protection because they're bootlegging or they're selling meth or they're doing drugs, and it's a drug house. So we know that. We know who all doing drugs. We all know who's bootlegging. This whole entire council knows. So I'm just saying that it's the wrong message to be sending out that kill all the dogs. That's not the right message, because there's some dogs are friendly, some dogs are vicious, some dogs are, there's different personalities in these animals. So this idea of somebody's child got bit, of course that family is going to be upset. They're going to want all the dogs picked up. So with no hesitation, they're going to want all dogs picked up, regardless of that dog's nice or cute or friendly. They want that dog put down because it don't have a leash, it don't have a collar. It's running, it's walking over there by itself. You go to AmPride, you see those same 4 or 5 dogs that are out there. People are feeding those animals at the AmPride. So them dogs are friendly, them dogs are females. You can tell they have pups. So all they're doing is looking for food, and people are feeding them at the AmPride. So you pick them dogs up, it's the wrong message. Them dogs ain't biting kids, they're looking for food. From my understanding, and what I witnessed and parked there and actually fed those dogs, they're just hungry day and out trying to look for kids to bite or anything like that. So I think some of these things are, these dogs are by the homes, and people and children are walking by these homes and they're getting bit. But those property owners probably don't have the money to buy a fence to keep people out. So people are just walking right through the yard. But some people probably ain't taking it into consideration. I don't know if you guys feel comfortable if me or someone walking by your windows at nighttime, are walking by your windows during the day, they're standing outside that window looking in, and your family dog's barking at him, so some of these animals are for protection, family protection. They might bark at you, but they won't bite. But then again, there's probably one or two bad dogs ruining it for all of them. One or two dogs that the owner treats mean. The owner kicks that dog. The owner punishes that dog. The owner is probably not working. The owner is probably doing drugs. The drugs didn't come in. They can't get that can of alcohol, so they're kicking and beating that dog. So that dog, starts becoming vicious. Starts becoming getting into that deal with this poverty. This poverty problem that we have here. So it's all poverty. We need to create jobs. It'll create better people. It'll create better animals. A better environment. So. But yeah, Chairman, we should be talking about building and creating things instead of dogs every month. I went to Chicago, went to my son's graduation up there in the Navy, graduated from Navy, and the speed limit says 65, and those cars on that interstate are going 100. So that's the fast lane. And then you come back to the res here, and you kind of look at what we're discussing here, and we're way behind. We're way behind. Our people have been waiting. Job creation, bigger facilities. We don't even have a youth center. We have to ask the school to use the gyms. We got people getting diabetes because there's no place to, there's nothing here. We can't even create that. Some people, I know me and Chairman LeBeau, we discussed water parks back then when we first took office, and we're still having to fight this issue. We can't even get that water park. We can't even get those two basketball courts built up. So that's all part of this. So we should be developing things. Of course, there's going to be complaints on council reps. There's going to be complaints on dog issues because people are in poverty. Some don't even have a TV. Some don't even have a TV to go back and watch the news, or Facebook's out there. But some of my colleagues said fake book. That's fake book. So. Just another avenue of somebody sitting down and throwing all the problems out there on Facebook and complaining about something because, their life, something's going on in their life. They might have lost a loved one. They might have lost a boyfriend, a girlfriend, a death in the family. A lot of things, a lot of scenarios out there on issues, the reason why people are complaining. And not everybody has money coming in every month. If everybody had that type of life, I don't think there would be any problems. As long as we're in poverty, there's going to always be these problems. And every month, we're going to be taking about a couple hours on this dog issue. And Ethel should be here to plan this, Chairman. And she should be up here kind of explaining to us what the plan is, what the outlook is, what the future is. If it's more staffing, if it's a bigger facility, if we got a fenced-in facility where we can house 300 dogs. And we have 5 people to monitor those dogs, and we have enough food to feed the animals. Then we can put that aside, and we can start building these skyscrapers. We can start building these airports. So yeah, we're way behind, Council. We're failing our people right now. We're failing our children. Our children don't have nothing to do but walk in between these houses and get bit by dogs because there's no water park for them to hang out at. So they're just kind of wandering around the community. There's nothing to do. Some don't even have cell phones. These kids should all have cell phones in this day and age, the future. So that technology, things like that most of us campaigned on that technology in the future and things like that, and we ain't even in the future. We're living in we're way behind, Council. Thank you.
Mr. Brinksmoney.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. There is a canine problem, and it has to be dealt with. It seems like there's a lot more discussion that needs to happen with this. But one thing I do want to say is that I don't think telling people to shoot them on the spot, especially within the city limits. There's laws that we have, and some people can end up getting themselves into trouble. If a bullet ricochets and bounces and hits something or somebody, then they could be liable for that. So. Just want to let the public out there, listening public out there, know that, call law enforcement, get a hold of the animal shelter. We still have those in place. But yeah, there's some individuals that get dogs. You know, they're cute little puppies. They grow up, and then they don't take care of them. They have litter after litter, or puppies after puppies, and those are kind of run around all unchecked and not cared for. You know, I got a dog, and if somebody comes and visits, I put her away so she doesn't attack anybody, and I take responsibility for her. And I've worked with her, and kids, they've trained her, so you know she knows what's expected of her as well. But it is a safety issue. And for a lot of these children, you know, I had one of my children viciously bit, and I took the dog out to the dumps myself and put it down. But he had to get sewed stitches on him so he didn't lose his ear. It's that bad. So, but you know, I think this should probably get referred to claims or something to discuss it further, because there's a lot. We can probably spend the next 3 days on this. Mr. Chairman, thank you.
Ms. Haskell, did you want the floor? Mr. Eagle Chasing?
Chairman, executive session. I just got back from Idaho. What you guys are talking about, it's going on over there. 30 dogs killed a guy.
Allow me, Madam Secretary, call for the vote.
Bryce in the Woods. Steve Moran,
Abstain.
Ted Knife Jr.,
Abstain.
John Kessler. Absent, Kendrick Dupree. The motion is for the tribe to pull funds from general funds to help support the animal shelter in Eagle Butte to provide services to the east end and west end of the reservation. Kendrick Dupree? Sharon Lee?
No.
Mary Miller?
Yes.
Kelsey Haskell?
No.
Thad Rose?
No.
Derek Bartlett?
Abstain.
Francine Hall?
Yes.
Joe Brinks Planning? Bob Walters?
No.
Ron Russo? Yes. Tuffy Thompson?
Yes.
Thank you.
Six yes, 5 no, 3 abstain, 1 absent. Motion fails. Mr. Rousseau.
Thank you, Chairman. Next motion is motion for the tribe to pay Christmas bonus checks to LaPlante LTM Express employees as bonus Christmas checks were never offered. That's my motion. Refer that to Budget Committee.
Got a motion to refer to the Budget Committee by Mr. Russo. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Bartlett. It's a referral. All in favor, raise your hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Got 13 yes. Motion carries. One not voting. Mr. Russo, continue, please.
Thank you, Chairman. Next motion is for the tribe to make a resolution that JTAC/TETRA to have an office for the Oahe landowners and heirs. Also that the Oahe landowners and heirs to be paid yearly out of the TETRA funds that the TETRA office receives yearly. That's my motion.
Second.
Thank you. Got a motion by Mr. Russo, second by Mr. Bartlett. Comments, questions on the motion? Mrs. Hall, go ahead.
The Oahe landowners came to the Claims and Legislation meeting on Monday, and we did pass a similar, what we did was refer it to the AG to come up with a recommendation or how we can pay them out of the social, or out of one of the activities for the infrastructure. I think it was social or welfare infrastructure. And so the AG has it now and is going to be looking at that and coming up with how we can get this done. But we all supported that in the Claims and Legislation. So anyway, that's just for your information.
Chairman.
Comments, Mr. Underwoods?
Chairman, there was a lot of time and a lot of attorney time on the same issue, Oahe landowners. And Tracy Zephyr was working on it when it first started. I think there was like 5 or 6 individuals that never got paid, that should have got paid. We found that out when they were doing the due diligence, and we was having a hard time getting into these records at the county offices. And that wasn't good. But there was a lot of time and money and attorney time spent on this, trying to get Oahe landowners paid. And they filed a lawsuit in Sioux Falls. Why don't you explain that one, Ryman? That lawsuit that the Oahe landowners filed. Somebody explain it. Did that shut the door on them? Because the last time there's a couple of guys here that were going to give that update and they never did come back. So you guys got to speak of that too, the lawsuit that was not won. It was lost. What does that imply? So you can see it, you know. However, somebody's got to explain it. Explain that side of it for the Oahe landowners, because what did that lawsuit do? I'm just bringing it up because it came before the council. A lot of time and attorney time, and it didn't go nowhere. Because the law was clear about something about per capita. So now we got that general welfare exclusion order. But then, like Mary and Tuppy and some of you that were Oahe landowner heirs, Ryman, you guys were being pressured too back then too, you know. So to me, bring all that back, bring all that stuff up and give it to your colleague here so he can report to District 6. Do the chronological on it, all that time, and there was a no-go. How come you guys don't talk about that? Yeah.
Mr. Chairman.
You done,
Yes, you know,
Mr.
it should have
Edwards?
been more money, 104,000 acres, but it's just like that sellout czar fiasco, 38.5 million when we were talking about 165 million. That's what's wrong with this council, man. You guys don't do your due diligence. And now you're bringing something up that, put it together, Raymond. Give a little chronological on it. Some of you guys that have the history and the treasure too, you guys know all about it, man. So start from that lawsuit. What happened there in Sioux Falls? I asked that question, still can't get an answer. So I'll ask a colleague there, Ron, if he knows about that lawsuit in Sioux Falls.
Okay, we got Ms. Whitebull and Mr. Thompson and Mr. Russo.
Mr. Chairman, Council Representative in the Woods, this was brought up at Council Representative in the Woods. Can you hear me? They say I don't speak loud enough. Bryce, this was brought up at the claims meeting because the heirs of the Oahe landowners, they came to the claims committee.
Who are they?
Barry Mann, Raymond Handboy, and some other elderly from District 6. I think they're District 6. Came to the claims committee and they gave a history to the committee, just like Council Representative Hall stated on the record. And they did have 2 resolutions, and the resolutions referred to the Attorney General for to take a look at the resolutions which they requested, and to bring back to the claims committee in 30 days or the next month. And so that's already in action. So I am going to just, if this motion is allowed to happen, I'd like it to just, the council reps to take it back to their districts and explain it to them, and let's not take any action because it's already been taken in claims. So, but if Mr. Chairman is going to call for the vote, I'm going to abstain from the vote or vote no because it's already done in claims. We saw the resolution, committee did, and it went to legal to the HE. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This has been an issue since I got elected, I think in 2014. And what frustrates me is I know we can pay them. I know we can. We could do whatever we want with that money over there. That's the tribe's money. But we sit and we hide behind the TETRA ordinance and all that. But when we've developed that ordinance, we can give Tri-County $17 million. Boom, there it is. Motion, second, passed. We can do all these things with TETRA. Fund this, fund that, fund this, fund that. We can give automatic allocation over here. We can give automatic allocation over there. Well, we can do anything we want with that money. We don't want to spend it all, but we can pay them Hawaii landowners. If we really want to help them, we just keep passing the buck. Oh, we'll refer it over here. We'll send it to this attorney, and law says you can't do it. No. All it takes is when we do our next touch allocation, you put in there, every year you're going to set aside $100,000 and give the landowner something. That's all it takes, guys. What we fail to realize is every year when we get that drawdown money, that money ain't made out to the TETRA office. It's made out to the Cheyenne River Sioux Tribe. Am I right, Mr. Treasurer? Right? Is it made out to us or is it made out to TETRA office? It's made out to the Cheyenne River Sioux Tribe, right? We got to start fixing that. That's a good program and good people work over there. But it's about dang time that the people that live here start seeing some sort of benefit from it. We talk about this ARPA deal, and it's a good deal. It's going to help a lot of people out. And when we had the conversation, we talked about utility assistance. That could happen through that program on a yearly basis if we just do it. Always there. All we get is the interest off it every year. But we pick and we choose what we want to fund. We do this, we do that. We give this program this. This is automatic. Well, why can't we do that for the landowners? Did the landowners get paid when that happened? Absolutely they did. But they got $17 on this side, and the people on the other side got $34. So they cheated the landowners on this side. They paid them half what they was paying the other people on the other side of the river. This can happen. It don't need to go through a bunch of processes. It just needs a simple motion in a second at the TETCH office, and we start the process. We've lost a lot of people that deserve something out of that. A lot of people. There's very few left, but they deserve something. And we can do it. We say we can't do this. It goes against the law. That's our law, and we can change laws as we see fit. That's why we get elected. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Chairman.
Mr. Brinkspelling. I'm sorry, Yaruso, then Brinkspelling.
Thank you, Chairman. Thanks to my colleague for speaking up. And I respect what my colleague from District 4 mentions, but I'm tired of the dragging feet on this issue. These Oahe landowners are some of the most Unchika members of our Indian reservation have been deprived their land, and they were never compensated. And in this current management of our current JTAC/TETRA funds is it's out of control. It's completely incompetent. It's one thing I can't agree with my colleague on is the competency of that office and the effectiveness of that.
Let's not attack our employees.
If they would have built one house per year since they've been open, they would have had 10 more houses than they have today. Because they did nothing with that money. Ain't one thing grand as that should be. Ain't one thing that is out here in our communities. We gave $17 million to Tri-County, and Tri-County shuts our members off if they don't pay their water bill in a heartbeat. Mini Wash Day, I think they're called now. But these are the current status is never going to happen. I can count 7.5 council reps on this body that are never going to change the current TETRA status because status quo. They don't care, and if they did care, we've already been changing it. This wouldn't have had to come to council today. And if it's here today and it passes, then maybe I'm wrong. So I'd like to see, some of the things that needs to happen is the ordinance 74 will probably have to be rescinded or amended with serious amendments, which is very easy to do. The public law 106.511, the Tribal Equitable Compensation Act is really simple. It's about 3 paragraphs long, and that's about the size of a children's book. Kindergarten age is the only thing that's missing is a couple pictures. So anyone on this body should be able to read that little act and understand that, hey, we can do anything with this money. So there's a lot of opportunity and a lot of great things we can do for this tribe, but it's going to take new leadership because I'm afraid to say that the leaders that have been on this body and leaders that continue to kind of get washed through the cycle of elections just don't have it in them to create this change. So I support this action, and I think it's great. If we'd at least give these people houses, they don't even have houses. Most of these Hawaii landowners, they should have lakeside property like they have East River. Most of these Hawaii landowners, would love to live on the shores of the Lake Oahe, and it's something that at bare minimum we should be doing, not just for them, but for all members, but we can't seem to do that either. And going on 2011 is when that office opened, and it's 2024, and they haven't built one house. But we spend about $1 million a year to fund that office, and some of the projects, I don't know how many projects they've accomplished, but a very high unsuccessful rate of just buildings that are falling apart, just dilapidating, poorly built. All the LTM Expresses basically built under their management, and then all the clinics that are sinking into the ground because they weren't properly built in each community. It's just a big failed system, and they need to know that, and every person on this body of government needs to know that, and then we need to stop ignoring it and pretending that everything's great, because it's not. Thank you.
Mr. Brinks Money?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. There was back when I was a chairman, there was a similar issue like this that came up, and the history here that's being shared, it's fact. Some of you heard from some of our relatives that people were buying up their land for very cheap, and then they knew it was coming down, they knew it was happening, but some of our Ushaka relatives didn't. So they sold their land for real cheap, and then it was sold again to the Corps, and then again another lawsuit. But the thing is that what Mr. Thompson said, who does it belong to? Does it belong to the tribe? Well, I guess we can all say that that's the name it's in, right? The tribe. So back then, what we agreed upon was to take it back to the districts, because this should have a consensus if it belongs to the tribe. The people should have a say. Go back to the district and ask them, and then bring it back. Until we get a consensus, I won't be able to support this. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Mrs. Hall?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Yes, I too have heard this over the years, and so then I wanted to read how that 290 million, how Congress arrived at that figure. And what I read was that because the tribe, we as tribal members holding this land in common, we lost acreage along the shoreline when they built Oahe. And there were individual landowners. And the way that Congress came at that, they figured in the land that the individual tribal members lost. They figured that as a total with the tribal amount. And I think it came out to like 48 to 52, 48% tribal, 52% landowners, Oahe landowners. And Congress had some experience, JTAC, funding the tribes up and down the river, Fort Berthold, for example, the Mandan, Hidatsa, Rikara, they were one of the first ones to get compensated, then Standing Rock. And so Congress learned how we allocated that money. Standing Rock went ahead and did a per capita. And Congress said, wait a minute, they were getting death on per capitas because they kept hearing stories about, the only ones that were getting rich whenever we get a per capita payment to our tribal members were off-reservation retailers. They would sell cars, junk cars to our members. They'd run for a while and then they'd quit. Our reservation would be littered with these junk cars. And so they heard those horror stories, They were written up in newspapers. And so they're kind of death now on per capita payments. And they put that in, that you can't use this for that reason. But when you read Title 1, Public Law 106-511, it states that we are awarded Tribal Equitable Compensation Act. Cheyenne River Sioux Tribe is awarded $290,723,000. And it says that we have to come up with a plan on how to spend that. And they want, us to spend it on infrastructure development. But they also put in there, whatever we put in our plan, that's how we're going to fund, And we discussed this in claims. The people there, the chairman, everybody had an opportunity to take a look at this, to visit with the representatives of the heirs now of the Oahe landowners, have a discussion, how we could do this. And we're looking at it in terms of equity, fairness. As Lakota people, whenever we look at, we all take care of each other. We don't say, when our people went out to hunt, for example, there were some gifted hunters in our tribe, and they were successful. Every time they went out to hunt, they were successful. They'd come back. Well, there's a story about some young hunters that wanted to get greedy and only keep, to their family. And the elders of the tribe and the leaders had to tell them that no, we all have our gifts and we all help one another with those gifts. Your gift that the Creator gave you is the ability to hunt and to provide. And so you share that gift with all of the people. That's one of the values that we need to start thinking. We've been colonized with European thinking. Oh, this is mine, We never had the concept of owning land as property. My land, my this, my that. That didn't enter into our thought process or even our life way until we met the colonizers. Now we've developed this European thinking where we're willing to shut people out. We've lost that, what's good for everybody. We've lost that. We need to go back and pick it up. This, to me, is an example of going back and making it right. We can do this. These people have been reminding us, wait a minute, you guys, we sacrificed, we gave up, now we need some help. When this came before Congress, one of the landowners told us, our stories are what got this Tetra bill passed. So, I know I'm new to this council, but I've read that. I know where that's, I educated myself on that public law, saw how it was arrived at, that number. Now you talk about a court case, and to me, those are just, we're going to hide behind that because we want to be greedy. We want to keep it to ourselves. That's not who we are. And I hope we get back to being more who we are as Lakota. That's why we're in here, to help the people. I know I'm the oldest one on this tribal council, and I'm grateful for that because I can share my years of experience and my knowledge. My father was on this tribal council. He was also a leader. My brother was on this tribal council. He was also the chairman. We discussed these issues. And I remember my dad always telling us, I'm on tribal council. I want you kids not to ask for any special favors. He said, I want you kids to be good because it's a reflection on me. I remember that. And you're here to help the people. This to me, is helping the people, righting a wrong. And we can do it, like Council Representative Thompson says. We can do that. It's within that ordinance, the welfare part of that ordinance. We can make a annual allocation for the welfare of those Oahe landowners. So I hope that we do this. I hope that we do this. I hope you start thinking Lakota. Remember our ancestors. Hetchitu.
Mrs. Weibel?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm looking at the motion, and the resolution, which they're talking about to make a resolution, it's already done. It was presented to the Claims Committee on Monday, and I have it in front of me. There were actually 2 resolutions which were presented. And because it's been a long time with regards to JTAC and the landowners and the heirs, I had to go back and do some review, and I actually have a copy of the law case, the legal findings in court. I also have a copy of the letter of complaint that was done by 3 landowners, original landowners. And then I also have the judge's final order. And then I have a letter dated from the Office of Special Trustee, dated May 17th, 2017, to the Honorable Harold Frazier, Chairman, Cheyenne River Sioux Tribe. And it's from James Murray, Fiduciary Trust Officer. And it says, this letter is in reference to the question your office posed to the Office of the Special Trustee for American Indians regarding third generational interest on the tribe's public law 106-511, TECHA funds, and if the interest in question was subject to the allowable uses spelled out in the public law and in the tribe's ordinance 74. In order to establish a legal position on this matter, we are in need of further documentation and clarification from the tribe. Specifically, 1, what is third generation interest? Ordinance 74 does not include a definition. 2, who are the Oahe landowners? Please provide documentation. 3, a copy of the tribal resolution evidencing the agreement of the Cheyenne River Sioux Tribe to take interest from the trust fund and use it to compensate the Oahe landowners for their personal losses during the flooding of the Missouri River. 4, a copy of the proposal the Oahe landowners submitted to the TECHA board or to the tribal council. Upon receipt of these documents and clarification, I will forward the information to our solicitor's office for a final legal review. If you should have any questions or comments regarding this letter, please contact me at your convenience. I don't know if that was done. I just was able to go back and get a hold of this information. And so that's why I'm glad, and that's why I'm stating that it has been referred to our Attorney General, because the things that they're asking about can be researched and can be done by our Attorney General. And so there's no need for this motion to be put on by our Attorney General and Tracy Zephyr. And they need to work on this. They need to look at all this information that they're requesting, that the solicitor's office is requesting from, the Office of Special Trustee. Not only that, they've got to come up with, the right way that we do this with regards to the social welfare aspect. And I believe the motion that came out of the Claims Committee on the Oahe landowners resolution, because they presented two, was motion to refer the resolutions to the Attorney General, Tracy Zephyr, and the Tetra Office Director to look at options that the Oahe landowners have regarding the social welfare clause in the Tetra laws. We did pass a resolution. We did pass a resolution to pay the Oahe landowners and on council, and it passed. And we were told we couldn't do it, but that was out of the interest. That wasn't following this process. So it appears to me that before we go and approve this motion, because we need to make sure that we do it so that it can be done right away and done the right way legally, because we're going to have our attorneys involved in it anyway. So that's the only reason that I wanted to, because in their resolution, which you're going to approve, they're asking to calculate how much the third generation interest from the JTAC settlement will be given to the individuals. The work group shall consist of the following and all this stuff, and that needs to be reviewed by our legal before. And once you pass the action, that's law. Do you know what I mean? So let's send it to let's let our legal come back with the plan for these requests in this resolution. The other resolution, which District 6 is referring to, is that the Cheyenne River Sioux Tribe approves of the creation of a separate bank account to receive the interest earned on any second generation Tetra funds, which shall be known as third generation funds. While you saw from the Solicitor General's office that they want to know what defines third generation funds, we need our legal to review this, and that's all I'm saying. I support the landowners, I'll support their claims, but we need to do it the right way so it's done right. They're tired of disappointments. I'm in error. You know what I mean? They're tired of disappointments. So let's do it right and get it right. Thank you.
Madam Secretary, please call for the vote.
Bryce Underwoods,
Abstain, don't have no information.
Steve Moran,
Abstain.
Ted Knife Jr.,
Abstain.
John Kessler,
Abstain.
Kenrick Dupree, Sharon Lee,
Abstain.
Mary Miller,
Yes.
Kelsey Haskell,
No.
Thad Rose,
No.
Derek Bartlett,
Yes.
Francine Hall,
Yes.
Joe Brinksplenny, Bob Walters, Ron Russo,
Yes.
Tuffy Thompson.
Yes.
Thank you.
Is that it? Three more? 5 yes, 3 no, 7 abstain, motion fails. Mr. Russo, you got any more?
Yeah, thanks, Chairman. There was one that we looked over. A motion was made in requesting legal help on situation of the tribe trying to buy state church land for a children's village that La Plante resides don't want. As District 6 made 2 motions going against Children's Village being in La Plante, South Dakota. Motion to refer that to legal.
Got a motion to refer to legal by Mr. Russo. Is there a second? Second by Mr. Thompson. All in favor, raise your hand. Got 13 yes, 1 not voting. Motion carries. Mr. Russo?
Thanks, Chairman. There's another action we need to follow up on. The District 6 wanted the Whitehorse Community Building to be utilized as a place for children that were waiting for the bus stops in the morning during the wintertime. And we got Timberlake School on board. We just need to coordinate who's going to open up the community building and the funding stuff. So I want to make a motion to refer that to administration.
Okay, we got a motion to refer to administration by Mr. Russo. Is there a second? Second by Mr. Thompson. All in favor, raise your hand. Got 14 yes, 0 no, motion carries. Mr. Russo, are you done?
Thank you, Chairman. I got another one, and the one after this, I got two more. But I need a school bus stop. I make a motion to have a tribal DOT put a school bus stop on BI Route 3 by the LeComp Ranch. That's my motion.
Got a motion by Mr. Russo. Is there a second? Second by Mr. Thompson. Can you repeat that again?
Motion to have tribal DOT put a school bus stop signs by the LeComp Ranch Junction on Route 3, BIA Route 3.
Is that by Dixie's? Okay. Okay, got a motion and a second by Mr. Russo, second by Mr. Thompson. Comment, Ms. Haskell?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. So I had this looked into at my place too. Can you just refer it to Dakota and he starts the process? It's just a simple application.
So tribal DOT is different than Highway 212. So this motion here is appropriate. Thank you, Ms. Haskell.
Okay, thanks.
Any other comments? Madam Secretary, please call for the vote.
Bryce Underwoods,
Uh-huh.
Steve Moran,
Yes.
Ted Knife Jr.,
Yes.
John Kessler,
Yes.
Kenneth Dupree, Sharon Lee,
Yes.
Mary Miller, Kelsey Haskell,
Yes.
Brad Hill,
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Up.
Oh,
Yes.
$15 yes, 0 no, 0 abstain, 0 absent. Motion carries. Mr.
Chairman,
Russo?
thank you, Chairman. Last one. I want to do a motion by resolution to honor Dr. Fred Ness for his exemplary service to our tribal members and to the tribal nation, and to refer to administration to get that resolution done right away. That's my motion.
Second.
We got a motion by Mr. Russo. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Bartlett. Motions to honor the Dr. Nesbitt resolution and refer to administration. All in favor, raise your hand. $15 yes, 0 no, motion carries. Well, thank you, District 6, for the report. Council, let's take a 1 hour lunch break. Reconvene about 1 p.m. We got to do that resolution for the alcohol. And we'll see if Mr. Gunn can get on. Yep. Okay. Yep.